Hollywood's it's about friendships and circles, and and you're just not invited into some when they don't understand you, is what I would say. I don't think there was a lot of like, we don't like you, but you're not like us, maybe, is more like it.
Welcome to the Mommy Actor Podcast. I am your host, Tara Strong Lyons, proud mommy actor, and these are the stories of superwomen who dare to do it all. On this episode, I have the incredible Shanti Lowry. She is a mommy, she is an actor, she is a dancer, she is a certified diva. Y'all are in for a real treat today. This is the Mommy Actor Podcast.
Mommy Actor. Mommy Actor.
Shanti Lowry is an actor, singer, and dancer who started her career as one of the original members of the pop group known as the Pussycat Dolls. As she focused her career more on acting, she gained fame when she landed the role of Dion Marie Taylor on the TV series The Game. You have seen her as Cheryl on the sitcom Family Time, Holly on Netflix's Uncle Buck, and Yolanda on the series Bronx SIU, where she earned her first Daytime Emmy nomination for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Digital Daytime Drama Series. She appeared as a dancer in the film Charlie's Angels Full Throttle and Looney Tunes Back in Action. She is also, in my humble but admittedly biased opinion, the Christmas movie queen, with her newest film, Worst Christmas Ever, currently streaming on Apple TV and Tubi. And with all of these wonderful accolades, she is also mommy to a beautiful preschooler named Alora. Welcome to the chat, Shanti Lowry. Cute dance moves.
Thank you. That was an incredible introduction.
Girl.
Wow. It took me all the way back to my teenage years. Now a mommy. It's crazy, but I've known you for so long.
Yes.
All of them.
Yes. It's so crazy. We met at a Emmy. Girl, we can go into a whole little thing about.
I was just thinking, I don't know how we met, so I was like this.
Yep. Where was it? We were at an Emmy party. It was my first Daytime Emmy. It was when you were nominated.
Yes. For Bronx SIU.
Yes. Okay, I have to tell this tiny story real quick before we get into the interview. So, this was like my first big celebrity type of event, and so you're really one of the most famous people I had met at that time. And so I saw you and I was like, oh my God. And you know me, I'm just I was like, I know you, I'm a fan. And you were like, oh hi, and so you were like, we're gonna have I don't know what happened. Somebody was like, they were inviting you to a party and they were like, oh, you can come too. And I was like, okay. And you were like, yeah, girl, I'll text you. And it was the next day. And so I went home and I told my husband, I was like, I met this lady and she's so great, and whatever. She said she was going to text me, but I don't know. And in my mind, I'm like, it's LA, people are kind of shallow. They say whatever. I don't know what's going to happen. Girl, you text me. You texted me. And I was like, oh my goodness, Dominic, she actually texted me. And you gave me the address and I came, and you just been wonderful and amazing since. So thank you for not being the statistic.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for reminding me that, that's who I am, because that's who I want to be. Yes. And I love hearing when that's a successful thing,
Yes.
Because my mom lived in LA a long time. And I actually love LA. I really hate it when people bag on LA, but it does have some things that are true. All stereotypes come from something. And, we all are. We have so much going on in our own lives. We're all trying to create art, make art, be part of art, and raise a family sometimes. And so we do get, in our own world.
Yeah.
So one of my resolutions actually is to continue to be more open and remember to stay open. So,
yes. Right. And like you said, we all have our things, maybe it's not a bad intention when you say, yeah, I'm going to invite you to the party, but literally a million things come up and, you got this. And plus you were nominated. I bet you were invited to a million things. So, sometimes.
You're such a wonderful open presence, though. That's something that people have to remember in life. It gets you everywhere, being nice and kind and open. It really does.
Yeah. People appreciate it. They want real people, and so, shout out to the real ones.
There we go.
So I want to start with the basics. Where are you? How long have you been there? And do you plan on staying?
I'm in my living room. I've been here about 15 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. I am in, I'm in Los Angeles, and I definitely plan on staying. Like I said, I really love it here. I love the culture. I love that I can go and find any cuisine at the top, of someone making the top of that cuisine somewhere in the LA area. I can see art all the time. I love that people look like me, and that's not a big deal. So I love LA, but I also really love to travel. And I do love sort of what acting provides you to sort of pick up your life and start a new life for a short amount of time sometimes. And I really like that. I like jumping into new cultures.
Yeah. And that's fun when, now in Los Angeles, I feel like a lot of things are casting out of Los Angeles, but like shooting everywhere else. So,
yeah,
I know
that at all.
You were just in Ohio, right?
I was doing a tour for my premiere tour for my Christmas movie, which was such a delight. I've never done a tour watching the movie with people. A lot of times you'll do a press tour and you go and you talk about the movie a lot. And I don't mind that at all. I like what I do and I like talking to different people, but it is not the same as then going to the theater and watching it with those people and then grabbing a drink after.
Yes.
It was such a great idea. The producers were really onto something with that.
Yes. And you like get to hear the reaction right there in the theater. Like, I thought that was a funny line, but like you guys are actually laughing at it.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I hear just all the different sounds that people make in a theater. It's hilarious. I miss being in theaters with people, really.
Yeah. Well, it's coming back. I feel like there's more and more like TV, not TV, but like movie premieres that are happening, and more movies are going back to the theater. So I think it's a thing.
Hope so. I don't know that I have as much faith. I think that I think it's going to become a novelty. I remember when my husband and I legitimately went to like at least 2 movies a week. And we're very privileged to do that, but that was like our thing. And now, I mean, I can tell you like months ago, I went to a movie or something like that, and it's just, that's sad, but it's also the way the industry is moving. And I think instead of hold on to regret and be one of those people who's like, in my day, just find a new way to do your art, find a new way. I like I said, I really loved these interactive screenings. Maybe that's how you get people to theaters.
Yeah.
Is use more of that. And I don't mind that at all.
Yeah. Fun stuff. So tell me, let's start from the very beginning. When did you fall in love with acting? How did it start? Your parents, were they supportive? All that.
I always say, and I do think this is true. I think I became an actor because I had a really hard childhood and I just needed to express different emotions, other people's emotions. I needed to get out of the life I was living. It was therapy in a lot of ways, and really successful therapy, I will say. Actually, I went to regular therapy as well, but just dissecting characters and figuring out why they behave the way they do, and also figuring out what other people did to them, and then going, oh, I wonder what happened to them, and going backwards. It really made me understand the things that happened to me and stop blaming and being so full of anger and hate, and just realizing, wow, it's cycles, it's life. It's people who make interesting choices and they're not good or bad. They're just their choices and they affect people. And really that's acting. That's what acting is breaking down a character. And also a little bit that's directing and producing, which is also why I moved into that, because I do like to see a big picture, and I always have. So I was always acting, and I just took every opportunity I could. And I lived in a small town in Boulder, Colorado, where people don't look like me, and there are not necessarily opportunities to become a big actor or dancer or anything like that. But there was a community play, and I read it in the paper, and they said they were auditioning young girls. And I don't have any idea why I didn't ask my mom, because she would have said yes, I'm sure, and would have driven me and been supportive. But I think I was just like, I need this to happen. Just in case you're going to say no, I'm not even going to tell you. So I went to the library and I got a monologue book. I chose a monologue of a 40-year-old woman who was telling her husband that she was leaving him because he had had an affair. And I didn't see any issue with that. I just thought it was very dramatic and wonderful. And then I needed a headshot, so I took a picture off the wall, like a hanging picture, and I took it out of the frame, and I looked up the bus schedule, and I got there on my own, And I made up a whole lie about, oh, my mom just dropped me off. She had to go to the grocery store, but she's going to be right back. And, they were like, okay. And I did my audition and then I left. And I just didn't think about it again. It was more like an experiment to see, like, could I do that? Because my mom had recently given me a bus pass and the ability to, like, go to certain places. And I was like, I think I can do that. But then I got the part and they called my house that night. And they were like, so congratulations, your daughter is going to be in this play for 9 weeks. It's a really big deal. She gets paid, but you have to be here like all this time. And my mom was like, no, my daughter was home. I don't know what you're talking about. Long story short, I did do it. And my mom realized then that she had like a very precocious and very precocious child on her hands who wanted to do this. And she was going to get out of the way. She had no idea what to do. But anytime I brought her anything, she said yes. If there was a commercial audition, she would find a way to get me there. I didn't get to do very much because there wasn't a lot. So I ended up doing dance because that was another way of me expressing other emotions other than mine. And I eventually was actually discovered through a dance agent at a competition. And they said, we'd like to represent you in Los Angeles for dance. And I had also been offered a company position at Alvin Ailey in New York as a dancer. And I was also shortlisted to possibly go to Yale as I really wanted to become a doctor. And it was all at the same time, these 3 opportunities came to me. And instantly, the least interesting of them for everyone else, LA was the one I wanted. Because all it was an agent. It wasn't, housing or a job. It was literally like, we'll sign you. In New York, it was, you'd be in a company, you have a track, going to school is obviously a very clear track. But I knew for sure that I wanted to be an actor, and going to LA, even just to be a dancer, felt like it was a way to get there. And the fact that I knew so certainly that was the choice, my mom supported me wholeheartedly. We have like PhDs everywhere in our family. Everybody goes to school. But she just said, you can go to school anytime. I don't think you can do this anytime. You should go for it. So I did, but it was very much to be a dancer was the track that I had. In my mind, I always wanted to be an actor, but that was never offered to me. And like you said, I ended up being a Pussycat Doll through auditioning.
Yes. So tell us about that. How did that come along? Yes.
Honestly, it was just an audition. It was like a regular dance audition. They were a woman named Robin Anton created the group as, burlesque. She wanted to be sexy and a little naughty, but not full risque, or a little risque, but not full naughty. I don't know, whichever way you want to go. And she thought it could be sexy without being over the top. And so she put a group together and then got a review at the Roxy and wanted a few more dancers. So I auditioned, and I really felt free doing that, to be honest. I had always done ballet, lyrical, a little bit of hip hop, but it was not feminine in any way. And getting to just move my body and be powerful in my own sense and my own presence, it was a really big turning point in my life, actually. And it was pivotal too, because I was 18, I think, and I was realizing like, oh, I'm a woman and I'm beautiful. I'd never felt beautiful in Colorado because no one looked like me. So it was a beautiful time in my life, but it was also very strange because it took off really quickly. And all of a sudden they were like, okay, you're going to be a dancing pop star. And it was just like, oh, okay. But I came here to be an actor, and I think that that's more what I want to do. And I booked NYPD Blue, just a guest star, but it was a great guest star. Like, it was meaty, and I really loved the part. At the same time as they were signing us to this record deal for the Pussycat Dolls after we did this show that everyone loved. And they told me I couldn't do it. They said, sorry, you can't do NYPD Blue. And I was like, why? It's not in conflict at all. We're not even rehearsing that week. And they said, because an image-wise, we can't just have you doing like whatever. We need to discuss it, and we'll have to figure it out, and, we'll get back to you. And again, it was just a moment that I knew. I just thought, no. This isn't who I want to be, and I don't want you to decide who I want to be.
Yes.
So I took the one guest star part in NYPD Blue and said bye to Pussycat Dolls.
Okay.
But I'm actually really grateful.
Yeah, absolutely.
it wasn't who I wanted to be, and it wasn't the journey that I wanted to make that time in my life. An interesting caveat about that is I had met my husband and I was engaged, and they didn't like that at all. I don't even know what you call them. They were like the top people. They weren't a part of the group at all. They were the managers. They weren't our managers. I can't really
like the art directors of the visionaries.
They were the studio. I'll just say that. Okay. They were the studio.
Yeah.
They were telling us how we could dress and how we could be. And it was a whole thing about whether I could wear my ring or not. And it was like, why though? Why can't I wear my ring? What is it that you're expecting from someone who doesn't have a ring? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that was going to be my next question, because I didn't realize you had gotten married so early in your career, and, it came at you like all this negative energy. And I mean, obviously you're your own independent woman. You're going to do whatever you want to do anyway. But like how did that happen? How did that shape your career?
Hugely, but not just because I met him young and married young. Also because he's white. So when I moved here, I didn't understand Hollywood or Black culture at all. I came from Colorado and I was raised by a white mom with literally all white people around me. So this is who I am, And I moved here and I'm considered a Black actress and I'm only auditioning for Black parts, which I loved the parts. But people kept saying, you're not quite right. This isn't quite, what we're looking for. And so I was trying to be more what they wanted me to be. And then I fall in love with a white man. And that's just not the idea of what, they have in mind, I would say. And and also I met him and didn't want to be married young. Like I was very career driven. I was like, I'm going to get married in my late 30s and just, rule the world. But I met the most amazing man. And because I think my early life was very traumatic and difficult, this amazing rock solid home base was really necessary. I met him when I was 19. 3 months in, we decided we were going to get married, but didn't tell anyone because, oh my gosh, that's terrifying to everyone involved. Yeah. He was 21. And so we waited 3 years. And now we've been married 21 years or something. And we have, like you said, a preschooler. So a lot of my life was done a little bit different than what people expect. But I encourage people to try it because I've enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
But anyway, it definitely did affect my life in Hollywood. To be young, to be married to a white man. Hollywood's it's about friendships and circles and, and you're just not invited into some when they don't understand you is what I would say. I don't think there was a lot of we don't like you, but you're not like us maybe is more like it.
Yeah.
I will say just straight up, if I had married a beautiful Black man, there would be different things that would have happened in my career. And I think that's weird. And I don't know that maybe there's things that have happened because I married a white man. Maybe there are things that I know we get served faster in places sometimes.
Stop it.
I see you go up and ask, babe. You go touch up. But no, I mean, I think it's a reality everywhere you go that who you marry changes the way that people see you.
Yeah.
But I think in some ways it was beautiful because I had a solid home base. Every time an audition, didn't work out or, something just felt terrible, then I would come home to this totally separate life that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And rock solid. So for me, it was important for it to be that way.
Okay. And so let's talk about him. How did he feel about your aspirations and your career? How did he deal with that? And what does he do?
So he, when we met, was a musician, kind of. He's always been a musician, but he was signed to a record label, and then the record label had just gone under, and he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do. He was trying acting, but it was really funny when we would get acting auditions together. I would be like, "An audition? Oh my gosh!" Okay, I just get so excited, and the highlighters. He would be like, "Oh, audition," and that's when we both realized this isn't what you want to do, and you don't want to do music either. He didn't like the music industry. He's a very sweet, kind person, and that's just not the kind of people that are in that industry. So he ended up, he really loves business, honestly. He loves business. That's the side of the both industries that he would love talking about.
Yeah.
And so he ended up going into the tech business. And what was the first part? Just who is he? I married him.
How did he feel about your career? Well, what did he feel about, how did he continue to support you through all of your stuff?
Yeah. And I've done some parts that I think some men would have a hard time with through my career for sure. It's interesting because we were so young and I was not looking for a boyfriend even. I was really firm with my lines from the beginning. I was like, I'm an actress and I do this for the art of it. And if I feel like being naked in a movie, you can come and support me or you can stay at home because I won't be listening to any of that nonsense. You know what I mean? I was like, this is who I am. And if this isn't what you want, then that's the door. Yeah. And I'm so fine with that. And he just knew that from the beginning. And we were tested pretty early. I got a part where I did some nudity very early. And I did two things. I didn't allow him to be upset about it. I talked to him about it constantly. I told him every single part of it because I think secrets and not knowing make it so much worse because it's not sexy at all. In fact, it's horrifying to do that kind of work on set. So I let him know every little awful thing about it so that he felt he really understood it. And then I didn't make him watch it. If you don't want to watch it, I would tell him what's coming up and I would tell him what's happening. And, he's been more than fine with it. He's beautifully supportive through all my work, but especially if it's something like that. Yeah. And I can even go to him and be like, oh my gosh, they have the kissing scene on the first day. And he's like, I know, babe, but you'll be okay. Don't forget to grab your mints, get some chapstick. And, he doesn't see it the way that other people might.
That's beautiful because I did a sex scene and I did not tell my husband. Well, he was my boyfriend at the time. Yeah, he was my boyfriend. Okay. It was my first opportunity in that way. And there was no nudity, but it was like, I knew it was happening and I didn't tell him. And I didn't even know how to, do that. Matter of fact, when I got the role, I don't even think I knew there was a sex scene in it. I don't think that was all the way there. But then, of course, when I got my contract and we went through everything, they were like, yeah, it's going to happen. I was like, I'm not going to, because I did, it was like one of my first roles in LA. I'm like, I'm not going to not do it, Plus, you're just my boyfriend, even though he moved to Los Angeles to be with me for me. Yes, and we are here for my life. I was like, fine. So anyway, he was planning to ask me to marry him. It was terrible, Shanti. It was so bad. And it really... So wait,
did he find out that you did it or he saw it?
He found out that I did it.
Okay. Yeah. At least he didn't have to see it and find out.
He didn't have to see it, no. And actually, I was able to go to the director and be like, it's not going to be a good thing. Please just don't put it in. And he didn't. So that was...
So you've never done any scene like that?
Nope.
By choice, you don't want to, you're good without it, because you're worried?
I feel like we're in a better place now. I mean, I'm married, we got kids, so if there was, actually, I did have an opportunity for another show this summer or last summer, and there was going to be a sex scene, and there was this feeling like, oh God, I got to talk to my husband about it. And we talked it through, and, he talked to the guy who was, the creator, and he would also be my opposite in it. And I ended up not doing it because I didn't book it actually. But he got to a place where he was like, okay, cool. As long as, this is in place, no tongue, blah, 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 it's fine. And there was no nudity. So, I've never done anything else like that, but I would hope that if we were at a place, and there'd be those parameters like, okay, I can't just be all naked, because then, and we'll talk about this later, but also my daughters, like, I don't want them to see that. So,
you don't want them to see you naked, or to see you doing what you would be doing naked, or to because I don't feel that way necessarily.
Okay.
Like, there's a movie called The Reader. Have you seen Kate Winslet in The Reader?
No, I haven't seen it.
Okay. She does so much nudity in that movie. But it's beautiful. It's to do with the movie. And it's not sexualized. It's not glorified. It's to do with this character. And if I were her, I would be massively proud of what I did in it. And I would want my children to see art and beauty and to see mommy doing something, like, I don't do nudity or a sex scene because it's like cute or something. I'm not interested in that. But the scene that I did that I was referring to was I played a prostitute who had a scene with a paraplegic, and it was his first sexual experience. And I found that such a cool, artful thing, right? She's like this very low-class prostitute who's like, let's go, next is unzip. And then in comes a paraplegic who is like, I have never seen anything. I don't know anything, you know, and like, it was a very sweet, gentle scene, but it did need me to reveal, because that was a moment for him to see breasts for the first time. And it was not fun. Like, I hated it. Oh my God, it's awful. But then when you see it as from a director or producer standpoint, it's like, yep, that was a beautiful moment for this movie.
Yeah.
And I don't have a problem with Laura seeing that someday. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to look at my own tatas, but I'm not embarrassed for the nakedness of it. I'm just, you know, that's a little weird. That's just me, though. And I was very much raised like that. My mom is kind of a nudist in some ways. Like, she just believes bodies should be bodies.
Love it.
So it doesn't, that part of it doesn't bother me. And I think I conveyed that to my husband very early on too.
Yeah.
He didn't have a way to be like, no tongue.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, if we need the tongue, we got to use the tongue.
Use the tongue. It's necessary.
Tongue either, but the tongue is needed.
But I mean, that's good what you're saying, because it also comes with like, how old is she? You know, when she can really understand, and then it's not like floating around her high school and people are like, oh, that's your mom. It's like, oh, you're in college, or you're, you know, 25, and you understand why mom had to do that.
I mean, I guess it probably will be something that, you know, someone could bring up to her in high school. I just don't stress it so much. I mean, I'm sure it would be uncomfortable for someone to say, I've seen your mother in this state or not, but that's just I hope that she's strong enough to say, who cares?
Yeah.
And move on. You know, like, okay, good for you.
Yeah. Good for you.
You know, but we'll see. And obviously this might change when she starts talking to me and people start talking to her about what they see me do. I would definitely be open to changing my opinion, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that's good. I think that's good because, you know, becoming a parent can really, it can stifle your creativity in a lot of ways. But, you know, like I've said before on this podcast, we're not just moms, we're not just women, we're humans, and we have our journey, you know, and we want to create our legacy for us, not just for our kids and our family, but for us as well. And that comes with, you know, popping out a tit or two.
You want to. It really does. It really, really does. You know, you're not wrong that I think motherhood stifles creativity because all of a sudden, instead of what do I want to do, what feels good to me, you have to go, what do I want to do, what feels good to me, and am I allowed? Should I? Is this a good thing to be doing for all these reasons? But I kind of think I choose to live my life thinking I want to show Laura what it is to live.
Yes.
I really want her, like when I think about who do I want her to be, is it a doctor or an actor or a NASA astronaut? It's happy, like really happy and fulfilled. I would be a little sad if she was like, you know, just something, one thing, because I feel like she should be a lot of things. I'm like, you know, do this and do a little of this and a little of that. And I hope you're really fulfilled and you do everything. But I can't tell her that if I'm not doing that.
Yes.
She needs to see that. She needs to see mommy go, oh, I'm going to do a little of this. And oh, I do this. And oh, look, and I cook sometimes and I plate sometimes and sometimes I don't. And like, she needs to see a real human person living a real human life to know how to do it.
Amen. Amen. So let's talk about your journey to parenthood. Where in your career, what conversations, I'm asking too many questions, but tell me about that. Tell me about becoming a mom and how you decided that it was time.
Yeah. It's funny. I think marriage didn't make me think about, my career didn't make me think about marriage any differently. I just did it as a support. But having children, I do think my career pushed that back a lot. It was always like, and I think maybe rightfully so, I had things that I wanted to do and achieve. And I just felt, again, probably rightfully, that I wouldn't, if I had children, be able or even want to do these things. Yeah. So we postponed it a lot. You know, we got married very young. And one of the things we said was, no kids for at least 4 years. We're not even talking about it. So I got married at 22. So then at 26, we looked at each other and we were like, kids, no, go away. You know what I mean? Like, we were in the middle of living life. We were loving it. Very, like, a lot of successes were coming and we did not want to upend everything. And then all of a sudden, I think I was like mid-30s and I thought, yeah, like, let's casually give it a try. And it just didn't happen. And I think like a year into casually not worrying about it, maybe we'll have a kid, we realized maybe that's not going to happen that easily. And then I think it was like another year of trying, maybe checking, trying to be a little bit more precise about timing. And it still didn't happen. And then we had to get intervention. And the most frustrating part is from the beginning, my very good friend's husband had an issue, which is enlarged veins that you can see. And the blood passing that close to the sperm heats the DNA of the sperm and it kills the DNA and it makes it so that it's not viable. Oh. And it causes very early miscarriages that you might not even know you're having, or they just don't ever meet. And a lot of men have this problem, and you can actually see it. You can see extra large veins. And so my friend's husband had that. He had the surgery. They had kids. Mm. When I was looking at my husband, I thought, I wonder, let's go and have that looked at. They completely ignored me, and they did every test possible on me because I was like 34. Oh, you're almost dead. 35's the age where you're dead. So it must be you. Oh, you have endometriosis. Oh, it must be you. They did all these tests. They did all these things. They gave me all sorts of, terrible drugs and conditions, only to finally find out that no, yes, those veins are a problem. Let's go ahead and take care of those veins. And still, we just weren't able to have children a natural way. And we were sort of thinking that maybe, how do I put this? We were trying to figure out, what does this mean for our life? Are we supposed to adopt? Are we even supposed to be having children? Because we're very happy. Yes. We love our life. We love each other. And then the pandemic set in, and we were honestly enjoying our little time together in our bubble, being okay, just being together. And we realized, I think we want another person here with us. I think we'd like to do this together and raise a child. And I think we're ready to take whatever step we need to make it happen now, because now I am older. Now it is like, I think I was 38 when we started our journey with IVF. And I got pregnant the first time. It was a really difficult decision to make, but then the process was fairly easy. The shots are not fun. No. But I will say, it's so interesting. My husband was so immediately on board right away because he had to be a part of it. He had to do his research and become a little nurse and get the shots and, clean and do all of that. So he was really invested. And I think most men can't really get invested until they hold the baby in their hands. So we had a nice pregnancy and a little bit of a scary birth. And then we got the joy of our life, honestly. And waiting and being older parents has been really nice. Good. Because I feel like I've had a career that I'm not sad making sacrifices. Like you said, I think we do change the roles we want and how we want people to perceive us when we're older. But I feel like I've gotten to do some interesting things, and I don't feel like put out because of it.
Good. So you already kind of said it, but so do you choose differently? I know Viola Davis said, she had her first baby in her 40s, and that's when she really decided, like, okay, I'm not going to take these type of roles because of my children. Like, have you had a situation where, you were offered a role, or there was something within the role and you were like, can't do it anymore?
Yeah, a lot. And it's interesting because, so as a survivor of sexual abuse and trauma, you have to work through things. And some of those parts are really deep and dark. And I think I needed to go there because I needed to get whatever that is. I needed to feel that and be done with it. But it gets dark and it permeates your life when you do a part like that. And in some ways, I was looking for some of that. I was looking for some of that dark depth that wasn't mine, right? Someone else's trauma. But now that I have this beautiful child who's like heaven, why do I want to go to hell every day and then come back. And it's just different. It's truly, I would never have thought it because I was one of those actors who was like, give me the darkest thing ever. Let's go. I really just don't feel that way anymore. You would have to really make me understand what the journey would do for me as a person too, to go there and come back in order for me to do something like that now. It's not a no. It's just not an automatic yes anymore. You know, it used to be, if it's fun and hard, let's do it. And now, why do I want to make my life hard again? It's actually kind of great. I don't know if I want to bring all that heaviness into my husband and my daughter's life. And then the second thing is the actual experience of filming, bringing her on set. If you're doing something heavy and traumatic, like she can't be there, why would you want her there? When I'm making Christmas movies, heaven, there's Christmas trees and lights everywhere. She comes to set, it's jolly, it's fun. And then when I actually am doing the tour, the press, all of that, again, she can either watch it probably, or at least understand it and be part of all of the conversation. When I'm talking about like Persona, this dark movie that I did, even conversations about it, I don't know how much I want her to listen to because it's really heavy and dark. Yeah. So it definitely changes that, changes a lot. But I also think it's seasonal, right? Like I think in a couple of years, maybe I'll feel differently about all of this.
Yes, when she's older and, maybe she's totally uninterested in what mom's doing anyway, which apparently that's what these girls will do. They'll be like, no, mom's not cool, whatever, maybe you'll be like, okay, let's, stab some people or
Exactly. I need to stab a few people. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I would have a really hard time hurting people. Like I used to play characters. I have 3 black belts and I love martial arts and I love doing fight choreography. If it was just fun fight choreography, I wouldn't have a problem. But doing something really real and graphic, it's hard for me right now.
Yeah. I feel like for me, it's hard for me to cry. And it used to be so easy for me to be like, okay, let's go bring on the tears. And I'd be like, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm like so happy. Like I'm so happy. Like I fell in love with my first daughter. I love her. She's my twin. We're, besties or whatever. But now I'm like deep in love with the baby. Because she's just so, and it's different.
She's edible. She's so cute.
She's so cute. But it's like, she doesn't look anything like me. She's my husband. And so it's a different type of love because it's like, I'm looking at this person that I made who's obsessed with me and I'm obsessed with her, but like, I don't see, there's no identity. I don't see Tara. I see Dominic. I see his mom and I'm like, that's so cool. It's different. But anyway, I'm just so happy that it's hard for me to be like, all right, let me sit in and let these tears come because I'm just like, there's all this dopamine.
I fully rage cried, like the let it go cry for the first time like 3 weeks ago since having Laura. It's a thing. And it's funny. It could be because I am so happy, but one thing I thought of was like, there's this dam where being pregnant, I didn't want anything to affect me, right? I don't want to let anything come in and poison this beautiful thing that I have going on.
Yeah.
And so I should have put like a wall up, like nothing is going to get past this. This is my, nothing affects me. And having a baby, you want to stay there. And I think it's hard to break that. I've cried, but that full on, like just letting it go sobbing, it took me until my daughter's almost 4 to let that go. And it felt so good. It really did. And I thought, okay, I don't have to be scared. I think that I thought that I would like fall into a pit of sorrow if you even dip your foot into it. But I think it's okay to feel it and come back at this point.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Yeah. So let's talk about Persona because I love the idea. I mean, that's what we're all talking about now. We're in this place in our careers where we're like, okay, we got to create. You got to, make a stage for yourself. So, obviously you've done all the acting things. Tell me about being a producer. What's that like?
So yeah, Persona actually came about specifically because of Alora and everything we're talking about. I felt so strange with my, like, do I want to create? Do I want to just sit here and like hold my baby and eat food for the rest of my life? Like, what do I want to do? And I realized, I want to show Alora what it is to be brave and big and bold and do something, that lasts. And so I thought I want to produce something that I've been thinking about doing for a while and I want to go for it, and it just kind of happened every time I thought, well, let's see if I can get a director who wants to. the next day I had. It just kind of really snowballed, and it was a scary thing to do with a 1-year-old. I was the only working producer for almost the entire movie. I was also the lead. I also prep directed because we didn't get our director until a week before we shot. And we were the executive producers. We were the studio behind it. And so it was sort of a one-woman show with a baby. And it was a great time. It was amazing. It took a lot of preparation and hard work, but it was such a joy. And I realized why. It's because I was doing everything I wanted to do. As an actress, when you're on set and you see someone do something, you're not supposed to say anything. They move the pillow. Oh, that's set design's job. Oh, well, it would actually make more sense to shoot this instead of this, so we don't have to change the hair. Never mind, be quiet. That's not your job. Oh, well, let's have lunch after we do this scene. Never mind, don't say anything. It was like, for once, I can do all the things that I've spent decades learning and trying to make work more smoothly. And it really was such a joy. We had children on set the whole time. Anyone was allowed to come on to set to view. We had, college students come on, and it was a different environment. I'm really glad that I tried it. And I will make many more movies. It's just a matter of timing, as you know, when you have kids.
Yeah. That's great on set, but I feel like a lot of us as actors, we're like, we come on after everything, right? Like, we're casted 2 days before they need us to even come in, right? But what was it building up? What about the money? Where did the finances? How do you even get into that world, that mindset?
I think you do it slowly over time. I've budgeted, I've been there when someone was doing a budget conversation. I look over, you look at the graphic and you kind of go, oh, okay, above the line, below the line. Above the line is what they pay out for just services people. Below the line is actual things. Okay, I get that. And, you just start learning the lingo. You start learning a few things here and there. And before you know it, you kind of just can do it, especially with all the technology that there is today with just looking it up. Budgeting is really important. You need to get yourself a spreadsheet, but you can literally Google, indie budget spreadsheet and start, reorganizing it, making it work for you. It was interesting because I felt like I was very organized and I had a really clean budget from the beginning. And still we had a day where all of a sudden they need $20,000.
Stop.
$20,000 just blah. And the thing is that it's for things that make a lot of sense. It's, you need apple boxes, you need more lime, you need more this, more that. And those were the days that were hard, because what I tried to do was have it totally prepped and done before so that I could take off my producer hat, at least that part of it, and just be an actor. And on that day, it was just I have to be an executive producer, do the money. I also have to be a producer and tell me and say, why do you need $20,000 today? And I also have to be an actor and run in and do this scene in a second. But you just learn to do it. It's kind of like being a parent, honestly.
Yeah.
You have a baby, they give it to you, and you walk out going, I don't know what to do. And then all of a sudden they're one and you go, I got this. Yeah. That's very much what it felt like. You have to. You're the person who has the answers.
Yeah.
It's your job.
Yeah. So I want to insert a little blurb in here, and we're calling this the mommy actor moment. That's my soundtrack that goes with the mommy actor moment. So I want to know a time where you were a mom and you were an actor, and those worlds had to collide in the most terrific or the most chaotic and catastrophe-like way.
What I thought was going to be, I don't think I've had that moment yet. I've been really lucky because I have an amazingly supportive husband, not just a great husband, but a really great dad and supportive husband. And I have also my mom, who often comes and helps. And we actually have a really amazing nanny that we found through a friend who can help at any time. And so I really haven't had one of those moments. I think the one I thought I was going to have on Persona, I have this huge gash in my head and I have blood dripping down my face. And there was a day when there was nothing we could do. I had to come out and go to lunch. And it was actually the first day, because we ended up realizing it didn't bother my daughter at all.
Oh, good.
So I come out and I'm thinking, okay, and I take it away and she goes, oh, owie. And then that was it. She was totally fine with it. I thought maybe I'm not going to get to see her until I take my makeup off every day. She couldn't have cared less about the gash in mommy's head. So no, I just don't think I've had those moments yet because I choose to put my daughter and my mommy life first right now and make it very clear to everyone who's hiring me that that's the case. You know, like I breastfed on set when I was doing movies.
Nice.
She's allowed to sit there because she's not talking. She's allowed to be there because we want to be near each other. It's not just that I want my daughter to see me at work. It's we still have that need to be connected. We were connected for so long, and she still wants to be with me at least most of the day. So, you know, I make that very clear from the beginning. My daughter's going to be there, but I also make sure that she's not a problem on set.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm going to knock on wood. I don't really have that story for you. Thank goodness.
Well, I have a story. So I did a movie called Maternity, and it was about being a mother. I was already a mother, but I was pregnant and going through the biased medical system as a Black woman and having to deal with, you know, being ignored. And so, you know, the biggest scenes in the film, it was a short film, and the biggest scenes in the film, I'm like I'm sweating and I'm in the hospital bed and I'm like, and I'm screaming and I'm telling them there's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with me. And, you know, finally, obviously, you know, they bring a Black doctor in and she's like, this is what you're going through, blah, blah, blah. You know, at the end of the movie, I'm like crying. So I took my family to see this short film, right? And my daughter, I think my daughter was 2 maybe when she came to see it. And so, you know, I'm not thinking much of it. Well, while she's there, we're like, me and my husband are looking at each other like, is she okay? And she's just like watching it. But I think like maybe like 2 weeks later, she like wakes up, you know, in the morning. She's like, I had a dream that mommy was in the hospital and she was screaming and daddy was sad. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, I know. And that was kind of crazy. Luckily she's fine. I said, mommy, that was it. You know, mommy's an actor. That was just something we went to see. But I didn't, honestly, you talking made me remember that, like, oh yeah, that was definitely a mommy moment.
Yeah, you know, my daughter's really she understands I'm an actor really well now. I think because I did try and show her a lot of stuff and explain to her also that cartoons are drawings of people, like all of that, keep it really real for her so that she understands emotion a little bit better. Because I think sometimes the emotion that they see on the screen, if they don't understand the context that it's meant to be entertaining, then it affects them more. So, yeah, I think that's good that you explained that, you know, I'm an actor and we just did that as a scene. And, you know, I think she'll be fine.
Yeah. She's fine. She'll be all right.
No, she's good. She's good.
she good. She'll be all right. So I'm going to ask you this because you're in Los Angeles and, you know, I know that most of my friends who are in Los Angeles were affected by the LA fires. You know, I feel like, what was that, like a year and a half ago now? Like
just a year and like a couple weeks. It was on January 6th and 7th last year.
Wow. Yeah. And I know that we were talking during that time. So how was that for you guys? How'd you guys get through it?
You know, speaking of things my daughter still talks about, that one she'll just randomly say, really glad our house didn't burn down. Really glad this toy didn't get burned. Like just still to this day, it's so interesting. We were in the path of the fire and we did have to evacuate for one day, mostly because the smoke was so bad that we just couldn't be here. But luckily we could come home after and seal the house up, and we were very, very blessed. But we have best friends that lost everything.
Wow.
And they are, you know, really close with Laura as well. So and also she went to a dance studio where she had 12 students in her class. 9 of them lost their home.
Wow.
So she really understood loss and that, you know, this was happening to people. And And we are very fine, and the community is coming back, and it's beautiful. And I'm so happy to say that all of the people that I personally know are okay now. But I shouldn't say like okay. They're in the middle of rebuilding. They're still living in apartments that are not their homes, you know. So it's hard. But it was something I couldn't obviously keep from Alora. You know, she was only 2, almost 3 at the time. And, you know, we had to explain what was going on. And I'm really glad that I did, because it is something that it was something that she did have a few bad dreams about. And I think, again, you're kind of like, oh, this isn't great. But understanding gratitude is a really important thing. And the fact that she still thinks about that's kind of amazing.
Yeah. That's so great that you guys are still, you still have your beautiful house, you know, and you still have your community, and it's good, like you said, that she understands it. Even though it was traumatic, she grew from it, but she still has such a solid family and a solid home, because you know, some people, and especially in this career, it doesn't shape out like that, you know.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I don't know that I would want to be a mommy I never would have said this before, because my mom was a single parent, and I am very much the kind of person who's like, I can do anything on my own.
Yeah.
But you just need a team. It doesn't need to be a husband or a wife, but you need to have a team, because if you want to still be a human person on your own, you've got to have someone backing you up on that parenting front.
Yes. And okay, so let me ask you about that, and then I have one more question, because I know we're running out of time. But what is your community like? What is your community like in LA? I know your mom's not there, so how does that work?
Now.
Yeah. Oh, she
is now.
Oh,
yeah, she just is currently moving into our back house now to be here permanently. So my community just got wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah. Community is hugely important. I think that's the reason that some people move to LA and find it to be very, you know, unpleasant, because everyone is doing their own thing. But if you can get in the line with people doing their thing and get into like community, it's lovely. It's great. And I have the most beautiful community. There's a group called the Body Love Community. It's an app that my girlfriend Brenda started. And it's kind of like what we were talking about. A lot of women who either didn't know their power and have always wanted to dance, or women who used to be dancers, used to be strippers, used to be cheerleaders and want to like move again somehow, but maybe don't want to go to a dance studio with a bunch of other people. We get online together and we dance in our own living rooms. And then sometimes we do events together. And it's finding little communities like that really, really, really helped me, because I get to be me, Shanti, outside of being a mommy. But they still know me as a mommy too.
Yeah.
And they support me as a mommy as well. Like Alora comes to classes and they all know her and they're all excited to see her new moves. That's really important to me. I think some people try and separate themselves from their kids because they want to find themselves again. But that's not you anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if you knew me and you didn't know anything about Alora, then what do we have to talk about?
Yeah.
That's like most of my day. So I much prefer the communities that are like, you don't have to be a babysitter and like come over and hang out with Alora, but you should definitely know about what's going on in my life, which is her.
Yes.
So I have my husband and our friends, height community. I have the Body Love community. I don't have a big acting community. I have like my friends that I met through things, but I don't tend to, you know, circle and do the acting events anymore. I think mostly just because I'd rather be at home.
Yes. Preach.
You know?
Preach.
Yeah. That's really all it is.
Yeah. No, but seriously. And then there's this persona that you got to give off, you know, as an actor. Sometimes, you know, sometimes.
Maybe we don't. So maybe that's what it is as mommy, is maybe we should go to these events and just be ourselves entirely and see what that
we don't.
feels.
That's the problem. I can't. I won't. You know what I mean? So when I'm with other people and it's like, oh, let's get on socials or whatever it is, and I'm, you know, and honestly, I don't experience that a lot here in Nashville. I just don't. I don't do a lot outside of my home. Just like you said, I'd rather be at home with my girls. But, you know, there is that thought where it's like, you know, I got to get all dolled up and then I got to put all like tons of makeup on and there's going to be pictures. There's going to be a red carpet. And it's like, I kind of
No one is going to ask you about what you really care about.
No.
It's your children, because they're going to pretend like you don't have them.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's exactly why I started this podcast, because I'm like, you know what? You don't think it's sexy, but it's real. We are moms and we're doing this. And so we're going to talk about
I think it's the most sexy. It's the most sexy. When I find out that a woman is like all of that, she walks in, she's got it all, and she's like, and I have kids. I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. You know what I mean? Because you're just like, what? Yes. All of this and your children are alive and like sane? What?
Yes.
Listen, I think mothers are the sexiest.
Yes, sir. Killer. Okay. Last question. So, there's this thing where as a performer or as an actor, as an artist, people don't want to put their kids on socials, but you totally do that, which, your village, they get to love on you and they get to love on her. Why did you choose that path?
That's a good question. Just like so many other things, I just did because it felt right. I know that if the roles were reversed, if it were me, I would have been angry at my mom if she didn't capture all those cute moments for me to look back on and see what I look like and what I did. I want to see that. And then I also think it yields so many opportunities. Again, I don't necessarily know. I have no desire for Laura to be anything. I want her to be happy. But it's not to say she doesn't love doing some of the fun things that she gets to do through the social media stuff we do. She loves doing little commercials. She thinks it's so funny. I'm so sorry. My dog's going crazy.
I don't hear that.
It wasn't really like a decision of I am or I'm not. I just did. And at some point, if she's not pleased with it, I'll stop.
Yeah.
And also, I would never put anything embarrassing of her. I think some people do that, and I don't understand that. It's basically just a photo album, a digital video album that I can look back on. And there'll be times when the month is really difficult and I just don't post anything.
Yeah.
And I'm sad because I'll look back and be like, oh, there wasn't a fun video to remind me of this adorable girl that I had a month ago. Who's not there anymore because she's older.
Oh.
So, I'm sure people have their reasons for not having their kids online. I don't really have any strong reasons for doing it other than we like it. Yeah. And if it ever changes, we'll stop.
Yeah. I love it. And we just...
What about you? How do you feel about having your kids?
I don't think that I have the pure understanding of social media that's like, people are thinking like this outside of, my thoughts of what I like to see and, how I want my life to be viewed, or, I don't want people to be looking at my daughter and, them judging her. Like, I don't care what you think. They're perfect. They're like, everything is just like perfect on them. So when I take pictures and I put them on my page, I feel good about it. I'm not concerned with what other people think. So
that's how I feel. I think it's the safest way to live and parent. Yeah. To really process and be intentional, but also not necessarily worry about what other people did or would do or would say, because a lot of that just, comes from a bad place.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, people are like safety and all this other stuff. And I'm like, it's a picture, or a video. I don't see it as unsafe. That's not how I see it. So.
It's not wrong. It's just that there's so much out there, I met a woman in Amsterdam when we were doing this really fun photo shoot in the tulip fields. And she had her daughter there and her daughter was running around through all of the pictures. And then she kept saying, no, don't take any pictures of my daughter. I don't want her online. We don't have her face online. And I was like, there's 47 pictures right now where her face is just tiny in it. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I do get the wanting to protect our children. That's all I want to do as well. But I also think it's sort of the difference of helicopter parenting and letting your kid play in the neighbor's yard because they're going to do it. Yeah. Maybe you talk to me in a year, I might feel totally differently. I really don't judge anyone for their decisions.
Yeah, I feel that too. If one thing that being a parent teaches you is that your life can completely change. Your thoughts can completely change. I never thought I was going to leave Los Angeles ever. And then I got pregnant with my second and I was like, okay, it's time to go. It's time to go.
Total faith. Yeah.
And I needed it. And it's been so great for my family. It's been crazy for my career, which is, that's only God.
Heard that a lot from people who move out of LA. It ends up being really good for their career sometimes.
It's crazy. So, whatever, you grow a kid, change your life.
Grow a kid, don't change your life would be crazy. Right?
Crazy.
Grow a kid is going to change your life.
You don't know. You never know. You never know. Well, thank you so much, sister, for joining the conversation. I am so, so thankful to have you. And I know you have inspired moms or moms-to-be, actors, women, just by sharing your story and everything that you've gone through in this life. So thank you.
That means a lot to me. Thank you for starting and having the conversation, because you're absolutely right. Mommies are sexy, and we should be having these conversations.
Yes, ma'am. And we will continue to have these conversations right here on the Mommy Actor Podcast. Oh my gosh. And look, we have the queen here. It's Laura. Hey, girl. How are you? Wow, who's that you have?
What's with you? Barbies.
Ooh, those are pretty Barbies. Look at their pretty colors they're wearing.
Girly but girly.
Nice.
Belinda and Girly but Girly.
I love it. And you gave them those names?
Yeah.
Oh, go girl.
Just gave it Girly because Belinda, she was that name.
Oh. Well, I feel like you put a little zhuzh on it, girl. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thank you both for being a part of the Mommy Actor Podcast. Oh my gosh, continue to inspire us all. Shanti Lowry, with all your experiences, everything that you've had, everything that you're gonna give. We are so excited to see it. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Mommy Actor Podcast. It is always a pleasure. I want to thank everybody at Moment of Creation, LLC, my team, for holding me down, producing this. Des Perry, Alicia Bailey, you guys are amazing. Love you. In affiliation with the SAG-AFTRA Labor Union, this is the Mommy Actor Podcast, and we'll see you next time. My sister, thank you.